Hi and welcome to Breathe with Anji. I'm an osteopath and long-standing yoga practitioner, and I work with the body, the breath, the mind and all the other components that allow us to be fully functioning humans out in the world. Today I'd like to show you how to explore diaphragm breathing. We're talking about the thoracic diaphragm, which is this huge muscle that sits through the middle of the body and breathes for us around 20,000 times a day, whether we ask it to or not. So always a great idea just to learn a little bit about it and then to practice using it, because when it works well, it impacts all elements of our health. Now, if you'd like to learn more a little bit about it, I'll put a link to my Substack article in the comments, and that will give you some pictures and also the explanations of why this way of breathing is important. I've worn the t-shirt here to show you how the diaphragm connects to the ribs. So the diaphragm muscle sits here like a upside down bowl, a parachute, or even a jellyfish here at the base of the ribs. Every time that you breathe in, it flattens, presses down on the contents of the belly. Every time that you breathe out, it domes up, pushes the air out. So on the inhale, it flattens, draws the air into the lungs. It's working all this time I'm talking and you're listening. And on the out breath, it domes up and presses the air out. If we're not using the diaphragm so much, we start to use the neck muscles and we can start to breathe up and down here, contributing to neck tension, stress, headaches, and a whole heap of other things. It goes without saying that if you are dealing with any medical concerns, please check with your local medical team or physician and make sure that you're clear to practice. What I'm going to do is just show you a little bit of the anatomy and how it works here, or the felt anatomy, and then we will move on to the practice, which I'm going to show you lying down. So, we sit a lot, we stand a lot. What happens if we start to constrict the belly, either by trying to stand up straight like a soldier, or by our normal slumping at the desk position, or even with tight belts or building too tight a six-pack? I invite you just to explore this with me as an inquiry. What happens when you sit up really straight? So the waist narrows, everything gets a bit tight round here in the belly. Now try and take a deep breath. Invite that diaphragm muscle to descend. I think what you'll find is that it's got nowhere to go because all of this is too tight, and so you can't take a full breath. Do you feel that? Then release. Oh, that was a relief. And then slump, or put yourself in your desk or driving position. And now try and take a deep breath. And again, there's a restriction in the diaphragm where it can move because we're squashing it here. So for diaphragmatic breathing, if you're practicing sitting, we want the posture to be lifted but not too much. We want any restrictions around the middle to be loosened. And we don't want to be slumping either. So finding that position in which you are comfy, not too tall, not too slumped, right in the middle. Then we can just start to notice how when we breathe in, the diaphragm descends, the contents of the belly are free to come out. And as we breathe out, the diaphragm lifts, probably to about here, and the belly's got more space. The lungs are empty of air. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. So just notice that, have a sense. If you haven't done this before, don't worry, it might feel weird, it might feel strange, you might not even have known that you had a diaphragm before today, but let's get onto the floor or in a more comfortable position and let's practice for a few minutes now. So you can do this practice, this diaphragm breathing practice, sitting, lying, standing not so easily. You could be on the sofa, any chair, or even in bed. I'm going to show you lying on the floor. This is probably the easiest way. Any lying down practice will be much easier to feel diaphragmatic breathing. So remember, as we breathe in, the diaphragm muscle presses down, it presses on the contents of the abdomen, your belly, and the belly rises into your hands. So this is different to breathing up here, shallow breathing. Diaphragm breathing, we feel it in the tummy, even though of course there are no lungs in the tummy. So what we're going to do is lie down, I'm going to show you how to do it. We'll have a little breather, we'll go again, and then you can practice in your own time. Remember too, if you want to read a little bit more about why this is important, subscribe to the Substack, there's a fuller article there. Okay, so coming to lie on your back or getting yourself into any comfortable position. If you're lying on the sofa, sitting on the sofa, just recline a little bit maybe as you start the practice as a beginner, because we want to really just realise and work out what we're doing first. If you feel any anxiety, stress, or it becomes difficult, just stop, go again another day. And if you start to feel a little lightheaded, remember slow breathing can lower your blood pressure. Again, have a breather, open your eyes, and just make sure you're steady before you get up. Okay, so we're going to lie down. Just check that your low back is comfy. Bring the hands onto the abdomen and just take a normal breath in and notice where it lands. So we don't want the breath for diaphragm breathing to be up here in the chest or to be in the lower ribs. We want to feel that belly lift and fall. Okay, lift and lower. So inhaling. Remember where the diaphragm is, feel it pressing down onto the contents of the abdomen. The belly lifts into your hands. Exhale. The diaphragm lifts up towards your head end and the belly falls. Inhale. The dome of the diaphragm flattening out, pressing on the belly contents. Exhale. The diaphragm doming back up, drawing the belly contents down. One more just in our practice. One more again. Okay, take a breath, a normal breath, and a breather. If you haven't done this before, number one, there's no reason why it should be easy. Number two, if you're feeling stressed or in a rush, it's not going to be easy either. So just carry on. If you haven't done this before, if you want to get into a habit of practicing, be kind to yourself, gentle, go slow, it will come. So let's practice now. We're going to practice for about 4 minutes. If you have low blood pressure, keep your eyes open. If you need to stop at any time, do. So hands on the abdomen, inhaling, watching the belly rise. Exhaling, watching the belly fall. You can breathe through your nose if you can, but just breathe. It doesn't matter really when we're just starting out. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. Inhale, belly rising. Exhale, belly falls. Inhale, belly rising. Exhale, belly falls. Don't force anything. Just watch. If it doesn't rise or fall too much, doesn't matter, just as we get started. Inhaling, belly rises. Exhale, watch the belly fall. As you breathe in, watch the belly rise under your hand. As you breathe out, watch it release there. Now, if you'd like to add a count, you can count. So inhaling, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4. Exhaling, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. going in your own time. If you need to have a break, just relax, take a normal couple of breaths, go again. Otherwise, it's no more, no less than just lying here, watching your belly rise, watching the belly fall, inviting that diaphragm muscle just to breathe in this calm and relaxed way. If you want to, you could have the awareness in the diaphragm itself, this sheet of muscle doming up on the out breath, flattening down on the in breath. Slow and steady. There's really nothing more to do than this. And then very gently releasing the breath, just breathing normally. Open your eyes, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. If you're lying down, just notice how you feel. If you're sitting, just notice how those few minutes of breath practice have changed things, either in the body or in your mind. When you're ready, you can come up to sitting. If you'd like to practice this every day, I'd say 4 or 5 minutes is a great place to start, wherever you find yourself. And if you didn't notice too much today, or there was any discomfort, or perhaps you can notice sometimes the neck is tight, or the back is tight, one side works differently to the other, then this is a time to find a guide or a teacher. So osteopaths, great at breathing, yoga practitioners, check that they know about the diaphragm muscle, the anatomy and the breathing. Ask me questions down below, or come to class, read a little more and get going with diaphragmatic breathing. Let me know how you get on. Pleasure to have practiced with you today. Enjoy.